about more stable coins. Talked about stable coins a few times the last few weeks. This one's moving back to the Luna ecosystem, Kujira, which is going to launch its USK stablecoin token. It's not on Luna anymore, or Luna Classic, but it's actually going to move onto the Cosmos ecosystem. They're launching a stablecoin that's backed by crypto assets, and then also using some trading techniques that we've seen with a few of the algorithmic stablecoins. So it's sort of like a pairing of both of them together with the end goal of creating a decentralized stablecoin. This really came into importance yesterday when we saw the Tornado Cash sanctioned by OFAC. Why? Well, because there's a lot of USDC, which is a centralized stablecoin run by a Circle consortium within the industry. And a lot of USDC was sanctioned and stopped and then blacklisted by Circle. About $500 million worth, I believe. Though that number might be a little inaccurate. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it was a decent amount of USDC that was blacklisted and basically is gone, right? Nobody can access it anymore except for Circle and except for OFAC with approval by OFAC. So people are still wanting these decentralized stablecoins, right? They want to have some sort of alternative. They maybe don't want Bitcoin because of volatility. They want some sort of peer-to-peer payment that has a very single standard unit of account. And so they're going to keep pushing for these stablecoins. Wendy, I want to give this one over to you, though. We've seen the failures with these algorithmic stablecoins, and now we've seen the failures with these backed stablecoins with what happened yesterday. Like, is there a way forward? Should people keep experimenting with these things? Or is it better just to rely on the true and trusted method like Bitcoin or Ethereum or another token?
Unfortunately, all this stuff, again, it's still in beta, it's still in production. And I think that it is important. I'm gonna talk about the pros and the cons. I think it's important to keep creating products like these and bringing them to market because we do need solutions. That's what crypto is about. It's about coming up with creative solutions to help the underdogs, to help the people, to get away from these oppressive bodies. So I think it's important to do so. However, for an average retail trader or investor, if you guys are gonna get into this stuff, you have to really understand the risks. Like, I think it's important to utilize a different chain other than Ethereum, especially with the Tornado Cash ban. But at the same time, there's a massive risk associated with it. So I'm excited that people are still building. I'm excited to see this type of news. I'm excited to see these algorithmic stable coins, whatever, to be created. But at the same time, it does make me a little bit nervous as an investor or somebody who would want to get into a particular ecosystem, because what happens if we have another Terra Luna debacle and people lose their money? Some people will invest in this stuff and utilize it, and then if they do collapse, they'll get upset, or they might have invested too much money. So that's something that kind of, tugs at my heartstrings a little bit. But at the same time, I love innovation. I love competition. I love to see people continue to build and find creative solutions, because we are in a time where we need it. Jen, your take on this?
Yeah, I was going to say the optics of issuing a stable coin in any way, shape, or form associated to Terra seems inopportune at the moment. And then I saw someone in our comments say Luna and all projects related to it equals wrecked. So I think it's just an inopportune PR move. That said, I understand that, teams need to move on, find their feet, and continue building. I have a question for you, Will. Now, I'm not an economist or a treasury expert, so bear with me. So it said that the stablecoin is going to be soft pegged to the US dollar and will be backed by Cosmos's Atom and eventually the Kuji token. Is this risky given that there is not a diverse group of assets that are backing the coin? If it's just Cosmos in the treasury, is that a risk that we should be looking at?
Yeah, really quick, let me fact check myself. There's just shy of $500 million worth of USD in the Tornado Cash vaults. About $75,000 worth of USDC was actually frozen yesterday by Circle. To answer your question, what we saw what we're seeing with this project, with it being backed by Cosmos and then some sort of other mechanisms, it's pretty classic within cryptocurrency to see these sort of designs. Like MakerDAO is like the lead project for this, and it came about in 2016, and it's been fairly functional, right? They've used Ether predominantly as the backstop reserve currency for that token, and then also the Maker token, and then DAI, which would be the stable coin. And then they use like interest rates and games with that to try to keep the DAI peg at about $1. And it's a soft peg, right? It might go a little above, might go a little under, but the whole point is that Ether is there to back everything up. And then there's also some like leverage you can pull on to keep that stable coin stable. Here, what we're seeing is they're using Cosmos and then their own native token, which I don't know if it has much value at any point right now, and then also trying to pull on some of those mechanisms. The difficult point is it's hard to say if people are going to adopt Cosmos token the same way that they've like adopted Ethereum or this other Kuji token. And on top of that, if not that many people are using this token, like pulling the levers, raising interest rates, things like that, might not do anything, right? Like, so it's really hard to get these projects from 0 to 1. That's why MakerDAO is so impressive. At the same time, though, we're seeing MakerDAO having a lot of problems with so much USDC backing that project at this point. And a lot of people are calling that into question. So I think right now, with the last 6 months of history with Terra Luna, and then with Tether depegging for a little bit, and now USDC blacklisting some assets, we're seeing some huge red flags with stablecoins. I think it's going to cause some pause for traders and others out there. We're looking at the stablecoin market and thinking, I don't know if I want to be involved with that right now.